Tune in to the Diva Hustle.
Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in to the Diva Hustle Show. Today, our guest is Piwai, right?
Yes.
Thanks for coming on. How are you?
Good yourself.
I'm good. I love the color of your hair.
Thank you. Turquoise is my favorite color, so I'm all about turquoises. Like, I even have an album called African Turquoise. So.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And where are you located?
So I am in Richmond, California, which is just about 10-15 minutes from Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I used to live in San Francisco. I love it.
So you know what I'm talking about.
So what first made you get into music?
Music was just a part of growing up, but not as something that was meant to be a career, because my parents had always had me going to something else, which is what I went to school for. But music is just a daily part of me, part of life. Growing up in Zimbabwe, I grew up in Zimbabwe in Africa. So it was just something that was just part of me, but never something like a career. And as time went on, I was singing from choir, church choir. And then, I sang in so many different church choirs, up to 12 of them, I believe. And then when I came to the United States, I decided that, while I was pursuing a medical degree, music was how I was able to stay true to who I was, finding roots, finding self, finding that balance. Music came as a form of healing for me. And so I started touring with a band. And so it just stuck, and it helped me to discover myself and also to find healing. That's how I got started.
So what inspires you to make music? I know you said it was the healing part, but what else of it? What inspires you?
I feel like there's so much chaos in the world, right? And then there's so many rules, and in terms of things if you work a 9-to-5 job, there are rules. This, dress like this, look like this, speak like this, behave this way, and talk this way. Even at home, we have manners and stuff. So for me, music is an opening to the impossible, right? You can just express yourself. And so most of my music, when I write, it just comes out of my head. It's like a form of free expression. So that's what inspires me, is that ability to just express myself from what I see. It could be I could be walking on the street, and then I see something and I don't know how to express or verbalize it, but it kind of comes in as a beat. It comes in, and if I'm able to verbalize, I just tell someone a story and I co-write with someone and we're able to talk about it. So life basically is the inspiration behind my music.
And so do you play any instruments?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually a percussionist. And I play, so my main instrument, I always say, is my voice. That was my first voice. But I also grew up playing drums and shakers. So I'm a percussionist. I play drums, shakers. I play palitos, which is like an Afro-Cuban type of instrumentation, which uses sticks. And I also play a traditional instrument called the mbira, or thumb piano. Some people like to call it kalimba. I play that. And then that's the instrumentation part has led me to play on a very, it just changed my career trajectory. Basically, I ended up playing on a Grammy Award-winning project with Fantastic Negrito, just playing additional percussion. So yeah.
That was so awesome that you had that experience. What was going through your mind when you was up there playing with on the Grammys?
So we didn't play, I didn't play the Grammys. I went to the Grammys, so that's a good thing. So I did go to the Grammys, but while I was playing for those albums, I was just invited to the studio, not knowing what was going to happen. It was just hey, literally this were his own words. His name is Fantastic Negrito. It was just hey, I need you to come play your weird instruments in the studio. So I went, I wrote every percussion that I had, every piece of percussion that I had, and I just went in there, and I was like, you know, I don't know if you're a Sheila E. fan, but I'm a Sheila E. fan. He's like one of those percussionists that sings, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just do my thing, and he would just invite me to. Every time he was writing a song, he's like, hey, I need you to put your stuff on there. And I just go, and I had no idea. I was just like, ugh, so many sessions in the studio, I don't know what's happening. And then, you know, months later, that's when you're told, hey, this is what's happening. We got no minutes. And so what was going on in my head? It was just like, I was just being creative. And I liked working with his team because they're just very supportive people. So it was just excitement for me.
And how would you describe the music that you make?
Oh my God, if you ask me next week, I'll probably tell you a different answer, but I describe I like to say I'm genre agnostic. So meaning I don't like to stick to one particular genre because my life's journey has been very different. I've lived in different parts of the world. Right. So I mostly am rooted in African music. So I call it roots music. So it's roots. Even if I'm doing jazz, like I could do jazz. That's because I'm vocally trained in jazz. Okay. But do I actually stick stylistically to jazz? No, I don't. I've toured with a rock band. I've toured with a soukous band. So my music is influenced by all of those things. In my network of musicians, there's a lot of people who do R&B, who do blues, also vocally trained in blues. So my type of music is, I just call it roots, and I used to call it neo-afro soul. Okay. And it's gonna be changing in the next few months. Yeah.
Because I know when I listen to your music, I love it because it don't date. You know what I'm saying? Like I was listening to your song and it seemed like, you know what I mean? It don't, like, you can't really hit and say, well, this came out on this date. It just stays so fresh.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
Oh, you just made my day.
You know how you can listen to music, you be like, oh, okay, that was like the 90s, but you just don't, it's just so fresh. And that's what I liked about it. And then it gives you that jazz with the Afro beats. And again, it's like, if you know now in music, you have a lot of the Afro beats coming up. So that's why I was like, you know, if she made this years ago and it sounds like she just did the single, it's amazing.
Oh my God, you just made my day. So thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I hope everybody else who hears it the way you do. So thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And what skills have you learned as a musician and as a singer?
Skills that I've learned, I guess one of the biggest skills I learned was stage presence, really. You know, like learning to present myself, because, you know, typically I'm like, in my language, I speak Shona. We have a word called diniwe, which means like, I don't care. Like, you know, like I have this I don't care attitude kind of, but I'm also shy. So it's like, I'm just whatever, you know, what you see is what you get. But with music also, even though I was saying like it's one place where you can express yourself, stage presence is something that I had to really learn, because I was afraid of standing in front of people. I still am scared of standing in front of people. But I've learned to master the art of being on stage and having a presence that draws people's attention without even saying anything or singing anything. So that's one of the biggest things that music has taught me. And it's taught me a great deal of patience. To observe people, to listen to people, and to redirect energy. Like, say, I can tell you a lot of my music really, for a lot of people that like are dealing with trauma or hurt or whatever it is, I've been there. So it has taught me to redirect negative emotions to positive sounds. So all my music, mostly, there's like some trauma or hurt or something that I could have easily taken on somebody else, but I decide to use it creatively. So
I think that's good. I mean, you're turning a negative into a positive, and your music inspiring people in whatever situation that they might be going through. So I always say that that's a good thing.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so, what are some of the hobbies that you are interested in outside of music?
Outside of music, I like to travel, which comes with the music as well. You know, I've traveled around the world. I like to eat good. So I mean in a sense that I'm a foodie, so I like to explore cuisines from around the world. And so I will eat anything just for the sake of trying it, even if it's disgusting, just because I think that you know, just like music, you know, trying people's dishes says a lot about how you interact with people. Like, you know, everybody is different, and you know, there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't need this kind of food, I don't need this kind of food. I'm like, I'll say that if it's really, really bad, but I like to try out food. So yeah, in the Bay Area, you've been in the Bay Area, there's lots of world cuisines, and I love trying out different foods. So that's one of my hobbies. Is I actually have a blog, an Instagram blog, where I have it's called Gluten-Free Nista. So I track gluten-free restaurants and food because, you know, I have a food allergy. So that's why, you know, I like that, because it helps me to explore food. And I like playing tennis. I actually used to play competitive tennis back in the day. I also like science. I'm in the science field too. So I like that. Because
you went to Berkeley too, right?
Berkeley, I went to the Jazz School of Music. Yeah. And I did, and I also studied science. I'm actually a big secret scientist. So yeah, I like knitting. You know, I like knitting. I like sewing. I sew. I actually make most of my costumes actually.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I do have I like so that sewing passion. Actually, I have a boutique. I own a boutique where, you know, I also make clothing for other people, and I'm into textiles. So that's one thing I like. So I have a lot of interests and hobbies. So we could sit here all day and talk about them.
So let's talk about the project. Are you working on any projects coming up in the future?
Yeah. So right now, my main focus is getting the music out. Some of my singles. I have a whole library of music that I'm trying to get out too. So thank you for having me here. This is part of it. I'm also working on my next project is called Radio Africa. It's more like an Afrofuturistic theme that sort of like traverses the differences between I like to say the Black people in the diaspora. That's everybody who is melanated, basically. And it's about finding self, finding the roots. And so that project, I'll be working with several people on there, about 10 different artists. So that's my next biggest project. And I don't know when it's gonna be up, but hopefully it doesn't take us long to go into production. So
I mean, I can't wait to hear it. And you know, when they come back, I would love for you to be, when you release it, I would love for you to be a guest on our show and bring some of the artists as well, so you can talk about y'all journey and the process and the energy that y'all put into the project and having it released. So if people wanted to get in contact with you, where can they find you?
They can find me, it's Piwai official, Piwai official. We were on Instagram, but we got hacked. The account has disappeared, so we're trying to fight with the powers that be to get that back. So you can find me on Instagram. Facebook at Piwai official is the same, and then I have a website. It'll be up and running tomorrow. We were just kind of like doing maintenance. So it's Piwai official across the board on Twitter. I just joined the TikTokers of this world. Yeah. So that's where you can find me. Yeah, so on TikTok, I have a different, because I'm so shy, I'm camera shy. So it's like, it's a whole nother environment that I'm not even used to, but we're on there now. It's called the wooden lemonade stand. It's gonna change, but that's the name. Okay. So it's like a secret page.
All right, okay, I'm here for it. And one more question: what advice would you give to new artists that are starting out and they just don't know which way to go? They don't know what kind. They don't, they just need some motivation. What advice would you give them?
That's a hard question, Paris. But I'll give the advice that I was given by people who groomed me in this industry, especially if that artist is a female. Also, it applies to people who are not females as well. Everybody across the board. It's just be yourself. Be your authentic self. There's a thing, I call it a wannabe artist. Don't be a wannabe. Because if you want to be, you're going to be something else that you're not going to be, and you lose your authentic self. And that for me, when I started being really true to myself, because I did at the beginning, I was trying to be like somebody, and I couldn't, because you can never be like someone. You can only be your true self. And with that, you're able to find your voice, find your voice. And I found mine in so many different ways. We can sit here and talk about how I found my voice, but part of it was being true to myself and learning about who I was. Whether it's I mean like learning about who I am from the most basic, which is like, maybe you come from a small family, find out your ancestry, your heritage. That's who you are. That's your authentic self. And especially for us Black folks nowadays, we need to find our true and authentic selves. And that's how we're able to survive, because there's a lot of noise going on in the world. And without being our authentic selves, it becomes hard to to be and to express ourselves, to practice our arts, to be practitioner of the things that that we have passion for.
But thanks for stopping past and taking time out of your day. I mean, I agree. Artists, you have to be your true self at the end of the day, because if you're not your true self, you'll find it coming out in your music, and then, you'll see that they're not showing up as their true self, and then you'll see the struggle as the artist keep growing and growing and growing. And so really your advice is real. So thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Tune in to the